So now that is in there now. See, it won't let it come out. You can feel that spring, the small spring that was on the dampener. You can feel it hitting that. You know, it's kind of boing boing. It's got a spring to it. Okay, so now I've got to put this ring in and put it with the lip up. This, I realized this a while ago, this is your oil seal. And you want to put the oil seal in. Honda says it on their package even. This is the manufacturer. This is an NGK. This ring goes up inside the bottom side of it like that, see? So don't get it in there upside down like that. That's not correct. It needs to be like that. So, but before we do that, you want to put, you know, on your, this is your sleeve, your bushing that's on the inside of the top of the leg. And we've got to hammer that in there first. I bought a bushing driver that is a little bit short, doesn't quite go all the way down in there and hit the bushing. See, I'm already hitting the leg. It's not even hitting the bushing yet. So these washers, they come on the, if you look online, they call them a backup plate washer. And I guess it's for a different year model, maybe an 80 or 81 model or something, that they had these big washers. But I took these forks completely apart. And granted, they have been rebuilt once. Never once did I find these huge washers. But I ordered 2 of them just in case. But it just so happened that I needed them. You can put these washers down on there and down in there. They're down in the side of the hole. And that will give you the length that you need to hammer your bushing into the housing. So you'll hear a difference. See, it already went down some. And that's it. That's as far as it's going to go down. So your bushing is in there. Remember to take the washers out. You don't want to leave those in there. And just put those aside. Put your little... let me think for a second. Pause it for a second. Sorry, I had to think for just a sec. But yeah, so I've got the washer, that strange looking washer that fits up inside the bushing. Make sure your riding is on the top, and you want to slide this. I'm going to just slide this down by itself. And there's a lot of guys that are concerned about tearing these seals up, so I'm going to try this. I've seen a lot of guys online that they get like a little piece of plastic to protect in case you didn't get all the little divots off of your, I'm going to try this. And once again, Honda probably has a tool for this, and I don't want to spread it too much, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get it on there as straight as possible. Okay, so I got my little plastic on there to protect the seal. Trying to anyway. I scrubbed the heck out of this thing anyway. I don't think there's any chance that it's gonna rip the seal, but you never know. So I'll get it down here close. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up because this is the part that it rides on. This is all like real smooth. Anyway, this is up where it connects to the bike. Okay, take my little piece of plastic out, a little protector, and just kind of work the seal in there a little bit with your fingers. You don't want to take a screwdriver to this thing because you don't want to tear it up. Go ahead and put this little washer on you know, I'm trying to go in order. Remember your order that you have things. And drop your washer down on top of that. I believe that kind of protects you from hammering on that seal also. And get your bushing driver back in there. And you just want to keep hitting on it. Not hard. Just kind of, and you're looking for that ring, you know, that's on your casing for your snap ring to go into. And I think that's enough right there. Yeah, it's not going down any further. You'll look around it, make sure everything's even, you know. And I can clearly see my ring all the way around the top of that small washer. So, back to the snap ring. keep everything clean. They recommend coating everything in transmission fluid prior to assembly, but this thing had such a bad leak in it. Everything's already pre-coated with the transmission fluid, so. Get your little C-clip. I gotta get me some new snap ring pliers. These are wore out. They do not want to grip. Okay, pressing them. Keeps sliding off of there. Probably all that transmission fluid. Okay, I've got it kind of started in there. I'm going to try to see if I can grab it one more time and push down the side. Yeah, one side's already in and this side's still up. I'm probably just going to get my... Be careful doing this. You don't want to hit your fork leg. Pause it for a second. Okay, I just gave it a little tap and just... If you take any kind of a screwdriver or anything to this to knock that snap ring, the rest of it, just be extremely careful and don't damage your slider. You know, you want to keep that thing nice and pretty and shiny. Okay, so I'm inspecting the snap ring. I'm making sure that it's in there. Definitely don't want that thing coming out, and it's seated in there good. It looks good. All right, so now we are ready for, you can go ahead and put the dust cap on. Remember, that's not your seal. All that does is try to keep dirt from getting up in there. And you can use a slider if you want to, or whatever. Just kind of hammer that thing on there. Okay, now we are ready for the springs. So, remember the tight coils go at the top. Pull that up. Washer. Put the washer on top of that spring. Aye. And then you get the other spring and place it on top. And this I've got a little, we're going to pause the video again. I'm going to show you a little thing that I made to make this, because you're trying to push this on at the same time you're pushing the fork down also at the same time. So I made a little deal with some rubber gloves and a clamp to hold this to keep it from, and I'll show you. Okay, babe, pause.
Go.
Okay, so this is what I did down here at the bottom of the fork tube. These are just latex rubber gloves. Any kind of rubber that you can put, and just put a hose clamp on there to keep the thing from sliding up and down. It's rigid now. You know, it's not going to, when you mash down on it, this isn't going to try to go down into the fork leg and aggravate the heck out of you. Also, these can be very, I mean, I've hurt my hand so many times just pressing these with my hand on there, trying to screw these on. They're real fine threads, so they're kind of hard to catch. So what I did was make me, and a guy off of one of the forums gave me this idea. He had a 2x4 and he cut the notch at the end of it like that, and he was putting them on with them on the bike. Well, that's cool too. You could put it on. You could put it on the bike. Go ahead and put it on the bike if you wanted to, and then yeah, I just cut a little notch in there with my Dremel tool for that to fit in there, so it fits nice and snug. And you got a lot more leverage. This has got a little bit of weight on it too, this big log, 4x4. So I'm gonna have her stand back a little bit while I do this though, because I don't want this thing coming off and smacking her in the head. So get it on top of your spring. Press it down in there. Hopefully you'll have all your teeth when this is over. See, I got it down in there real good. And then you can turn the bottom of the fork leg. Once you see the seal disappear, you know you got it. You can relax. It's in there. Believe me, that went so much faster than my first time of trying to put it on by hand. I spent probably an hour trying to get that on there with my hand, and to no avail. But the block of wood worked. Now all I got to do is get my wrench and tighten this up, and we're ready to fill it full of oil and put it back on the bike. Once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Took the cap back off. You can put the oil in after you put the cap on, but it makes it really easier to do it. The book calls for, I believe, 9.8 ounces of, we're using automatic transmission fluid. The book says for dextron, that's what we've got. So this is 8 ounces. Get me 2 more ounces. I'm just go to 10. 9.8, 10 ounces. I'm just gonna go. I went with 10 on the other side. I think it's more important as for them to be even more than it, you know, as long as you're in the ballpark. This is just a Goldwing, you know, it's not a cafe racer. Looks good to me. Just make sure you're not having any leaks coming out that bottom. You know, remember we just put that bottom screw finger tight? So you may want to give like a look. Make sure it's not seeping out. Don't dump out all your transmission fluid. Alright, so the washer is still in there. This is the short spring. Putting it back on top. And once again, we're going to do this. I'm not going to do this twice on the video, but grab your block of wood or whatever you got and put your cap back on. Okay, got the cap back on it. Gave me a little bit of squirt of oil out the air hose. But I'm just kind of giving it a quick, yeah. I think it's got some residual, but I don't think it's going to leak. Okay, so I'm going to put it back on the bike. And pause it, baby. Okay, well anyway, I got it back on the bike. I'm not going to go through putting back the tire. I mean, if you took it off, just remember how everything went when it came off. Hopefully you remember to leave it. There's not a whole lot to it. Just make sure when you put your speedometer back on, that little tooth right there, remember that this little tab right here is what keeps it from spinning round and round. So you want to get it lined up with that tab so your speedometer cable doesn't start wrapping around your tire. Put air in the forks. I think it's no more than 22 pounds of pressure. It's 18 to 22 pounds, I believe, on the pressure. And pray that I don't have a leak. But that's, you can do it. You can do it at your house. Just this is the 3rd time I've done them, so I'm still a little. But I found out I could do it, and there's no videos anywhere on the Goldwings doing the front fork, so I thought I would post one. Good luck to you, and have fun. Happy riding.